A Palestinian Columbia University student has been released from federal immigration custody in Vermont after a federal judge's order Wednesday. Mohsen Mahdawi was detained during his U.S. citizenship interview earlier this month. He has a green card and has been a legal permanent resident of the U.S. for 10 years. The 34-year-old spoke outside the courthouse following his release on bail.
And I am saying it clear and loud.
Yes.
To President Trump and his cabinet.
Yes.
I am not afraid of you. This is what justice is. And for anybody who's doubting justice, this is a light of hope, a hope and faith in the justice system in America.
The Trump administration argues a rarely used provision of the Immigration and Nationality Act of 1952 allows it to deport non-citizens deemed a threat to U.S. foreign policy interests. Mahdawi's lawyers claim that he was arrested for helping lead pro-Palestinian protests at Columbia University last spring. He also co-founded the Palestinian Student Union at Columbia with Mahmoud Khalil, another permanent U.S. resident who's also been detained by immigration officials in Louisiana. For more, let's bring in CBS News immigration and politics reporter Camilo Montoya-Galvez. Camilo, thanks for being here. Why did the judge say Mahdawi should be released, and what happens next?
To justify his decision to release Mr. Mahdawi, the federal judge in Vermont overseeing this case, Lindsay, found several findings. One is that Mr. Mahdawi, and this is uncontested by federal officials, has not been charged with any criminal offense. And he also refuted the Trump administration's legal argument that Mr. Mahdawi poses a danger to his community. He also importantly found that judges and federal courts have legal jurisdiction to hear these cases of students and activists who are being arrested by ICE under this little-known immigration law that, as you know, allows the Secretary of State to determine that somebody who is not a citizen is deportable because his or her activities in the U.S. allegedly threaten the foreign policy interests of the country. So this is really the first legal setback for the Trump administration's efforts to go after people who have participated in pro-Palestinian advocacy efforts or demonstrations on college campuses, but it does not immediately affect the other cases like the one of Mahmoud Khalil. We should note that.
Let's go through some of these other cases. Today, Secretary of State Marco Rubio was asked about efforts to bring back Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the man who was mistakenly deported to El Salvador back in March. Here's what he told reporters.
Have you been in touch with El Salvador about returning Abrego Garcia? Has a formal request from this administration been made?
Well, I would never tell you that. And you know who else I'll never tell? A judge. Because the conduct of our foreign policy belongs to the President of the United States and the executive branch, not some judge.
So for anyone who couldn't hear, he said, I'll never tell you that. And you know who else I'll never tell is a judge. How extraordinary is that, considering the Supreme Court agreed the U.S. must facilitate his return?
Well, look, the context here, Lindsay, is that the Trump administration continues to have a legal binding obligation to, quote, facilitate, unquote, the return of Mr. Kilmar Abrego Garcia to the U.S. As you know, the administration has said repeatedly that it cannot do anything at this point because he's now in Salvadorian custody. But now this judge in Maryland overseeing this case has lifted the pause on several requirements that she had for the Trump administration. So now the Trump administration will have to continue to provide daily updates as to Mr. Abrego Garcia's whereabouts and also their efforts to try to bring him back to the U.S. And secondly, the administration will also now have to make available top officials at the Department of Homeland Security and the Department of State for sworn testimony in federal court to attest to any steps, if any, that they are undertaking to bring this man back to the U.S. So we should get further information in the coming days and weeks.
The Department of Homeland Security shared documents with CBS News that show Abrego Garcia's wife filed a 2020, I believe, protective order following an alleged domestic incident. What do we know? Well,
this is the second protective order that we understand was filed by Mr. Abrego Garcia's wife. One was in 2020 and the other one was in 2021. And both of them allege domestic abuse, including a physical abuse of the wife of Mr. Abrego Garcia by his person. And what we do know is that there were no criminal offenses that stem from those two orders, and that his wife has told us, and me personally, that the family was able to resolve that issue together internally, and that she now sees Mr. Abrego Garcia as her loving husband and the father of her child. But this is something that the administration will cite to make the argument in the court of public opinion that this man is not a sympathetic figure and that it is not in the public interest of the country to bring him back, even though legally they have admitted that they made a mistake here.
When it comes to Mahmoud Khalil's case, a federal judge in New Jersey said Tuesday that his lawsuit against the United States can move forward. Are we any closer to knowing whether he's going to be released or deported? What's next in his case?
No, I think this case will continue to drag on for months. He remains detained in Louisiana at that ICE detention facility. The judge has set a hearing for May to consider whether or not he qualifies for asylum or any other relief from deportation.
Camilo Montoya-Galvez, thank you.